welcome to this week's Fireside Chat with Jesse. We have a special guest for our 250th episode this year. His name is Cary Jack, founder of the Happy Hustle. Thanks for joining me, Cary.
Hey, Jesse, honored to be here, brother. Thank you for having me.
No, it's great to have you on the program. I know it's not traditionally something I do going outside of the industry, but the timing's perfect. I was just with you a week and a half ago in Montana, was able to go through the Happy Hustle Mastermind. Looking forward to kind of sharing that experience with our audience here and more importantly, having them learn about your career and
Hmm.
I guess why you started the Happy Hustle. So I'm going to be quiet and let you introduce yourself, Gary, if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure. Well, I burnt out as an entrepreneur, and it set me on this path to put the happy in my hustle. And then once I somewhat figured it out for myself, I then uh, decided to help others do the same. And yeah, long story short, I was a tech entrepreneur grinding like a damn dog, working 100 plus hour weeks and getting 4 or 5 hours a night of sleep. And really not happy, but hustling. And I had this big, grandiose, public exit plan. We had all these VC capital lined up. We had all these partnerships with Microsoft and IBM, wearing the fancy monkey suit and tie in New York City, if you can believe it. I know that was me at one point. And yeah, it was all profit, success, ego driven. And I realized largely when I had a lot of the things that I was after that I was lacking fulfillment and fun and faith and fitness and family and shit, all the F words, a lot of them, right? I was just not happy hustling. And it came to a head where I had to essentially decide, are we continuing this path, taking on this big additional capital investment and going for this big exit with this tech company that we built, this algorithm that quantified feedback, which still has merit to this day? Or do I pivot and pick a path that's more aligned with my soul and my true calling? So we ended up, my brother and I, you met Grant. He was my business partner on the venture, saying no to all the funding, closing down our business, no to the partnerships. And I ended up moving to Bangkok, Thailand, actually for about a year. And it was there where I started to figure out a better way to work and live in harmony. And that's where the Happy Hustle was born. Fast forward, wrote a book about it, actually became, I say this humbly speaking, a USA Today national bestseller. We have a top 0.5% globally ranked podcast on the matter and a community that we built that you're also a part of, which I'm grateful to have you, that is really just helping people systematically harmonize ambition and well-being. So the rest is history, as they say, but happy to double click on any and all of it.
Awesome. So I guess you probably remember the day vividly. At what point did you go to Grant and like, dude, I'm out? And was he
Well,
upset or was he kind of like, no, this makes sense?
we were on that same page on that one. Yeah, we were
Oh,
both just burnt out. We were both so unhappy. We were actually sharing a queen sized bed in Queens, New York. So it was very much one of those fake it till
for
you make
for
it
t-
stories.
for 10 grand a month still.
Oh yeah, paying for like this little shit box apartment, paying out the wazoo. Yeah. No, we were on the same page and we were both like, this can't continue. He's very much an eco warrior and wanted to use the power of business as a force for good to fight for our planet. And so that's why he went back to University of Florida to get his master's in sustainability and then went on to get his Harvard certificate in sustainability and then become a United Nations speaker. So he went on that trajectory. And yeah, I decided the happy hustle was the path for me.
Perfect. Yeah, and I know that's one of the questions I want to ask. It's like burnout. Like, at what point do you sit there and say enough's enough? I don't know. Is there a diagnosis for burnout?
Well, yes, clinically probably with statistics on your blood pressure and your
Sure.
cortisol levels, which is the stress hormones in your body, and the amount of sleep you're getting, the amount of stress you have. Um, that's more clinically. I say more so when you're burnt out. If you're burnt out, you are constantly anxious, stressed, and overwhelmed in a state of disarray, almost attempting to balance all of life's balls in the air, but not really able to do so. And for me, I was just so focused on like single track, goals and head down, just get after it. And I think a lot of type A driven high performers who listen to your show can attempt to resonate. And so burning out to me was when I had just an overrun of stress, anxiety, and overwhelm, really.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah.
We'll put the burnout stuff behind us, and we'll
Yeah.
focus
Yeah.
on
Hopefully.
we'll focus on the happy hustle. Let's talk about good things. So, so how long has the organization been around?
2019. Yep. Yeah.
2019.
2019. Yep.
They started the happy hustle, and then COVID was like, not so fast.
Yeah. Yeah. Kind of that COVID hit quick. So I was running a biohacking business prior,
Okay.
and we were doing ice baths before anyone knew who Wim Hof was. We had him on our podcast, for example. Like we were deep in the rabbit hole of cutting edge, longevity hacks, stem cells, peptides, all the things. And we built this nice business up that essentially had a free plus shipping funnel, which we did about 67,000 copies of my business partner's book through this funnel on the front end. And then we sold 25, 50, and 100K coaching on the back end in a community setting.
Nice.
And we just ran out of time to sell because it was crushing that hard. Like it was like just when free plus shipping funnels were really hitting.
Sure.
And yeah, so I was running that business while simultaneously growing the Happy Hustle on the back end. And then I exited that company. And then 2019 is when we officially launched the Happy Hustle.
And how long has your podcast been around?
Yeah, 2019. Yep.
This is 2019. And
Yes.
how many
Yeah.
episodes?
So we are at over 550. Yeah. And one thing I'm very proud of about the podcast is we have not missed releasing 2 episodes a week for the entire duration we've been in existence. So we do a interview episode on Tuesdays and a solo episode on Fridays. And you know how a podcast is a real labor of love. And there's something in the industry called pod fade. We
Uh,
talked about it at the Mastermind, but like there's over
yeah.
4.3 million podcasts and only 400,000 that have published in the last 60 days. So I'm very proud of my team and I who have been able to continue to play the long game. And it's a marathon, as you know, not a sprint.
Oh, it's tough. I mean, I put these out every Wednesday, but not gonna lie, I do cheat those couple months a year where there's 5 Wednesdays. I'm like, nope, four is enough.
Yeah, yeah,
Four,
yeah.
four a month is enough. I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good. I'm good. So kudos to you in that discipline, man. Um, so when you put out your first episode of this, were you like, is anyone going to listen to this? And
Oh,
how
yeah.
often did you go and you hit refresh on YouTube or the thing to see how many views or listens you had?
Yeah. So one of the best things I think I did for my podcast was I committed to 200 episodes. And I said, whether anyone listens or everyone listens, I am not going to care. I'm going to commit to the process and do 200 episodes. And then when I hit 200, I'm like, oh, I could do another 100. Oh, let's do another 100. And it just kept going from there. So it's just a part of, I guess, my ethos is like commit to the goal regardless of the outcome along the journey. And again, do your best to find joy throughout the journey in a cliche manner. That is true. However, I'm grateful as all heck to have the podcast continue and to be where it's at. And it's something that you can get caught up in the stats. And I still would love to have more impressions, listens, views, streams. However, that's not the point. It's committing to the process, putting out great content as much as I can, and interviewing amazing people, and like that network effect that a podcast can bring is such um, a underrated utilized benefit I think that most don't see, like how you can build your network from hosting a podcast too, which I know you see.
Absolutely. And then when there's those views where it's like I look at somebody and I'm like, 20 views, and there's like no one watches this. I'm like, yeah, the guy before you has 200, the guy after you has 300. I'm like, you must just not be interesting enough for people to listen to.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it is
this
tough. Now, what
is me,
attention?
just me shaming somebody because it's like, it's
Oh,
not my
got you.
fault. It's
Yeah.
not my fault.
Got.
But yeah.
Well, the truth is like people's attention spans are so low. They say it's less than 8 seconds. I would argue probably less than that. Um, but the
What?
point is, yeah, you just really need to consider why you're doing it, and the people who are really meant to hear it hopefully will be able to find it if you consistently persist and do the action.
Thank you. And then, so on the mastermind side of the happy hustle and what you do from a moderator perspective, how many of those do you put out a year? And as a follow up to that, who should be attending those, Cary?
Yeah, so we have typically somewhere between 4 and 8 masterminds a year. Um, we do like the one you went on was the Montana Mastermind Epic Camping Adventure, where we take high performing, badass, really cool entrepreneurs into the wilderness for 5 days. And it's a complete digital detox. And we mastermind personally and professionally our adversities. And we really go deep down the rabbit hole in survival training and fly fishing. But it's really a fun time in nature's glory, to just be primal and get out there, right? Hopefully you could agree with some of that.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah,
and then we do,
absolutely.
yeah, we do a ski mastermind too, which is similar in nature, but often different because it's a different activity. We do one coming up we have in November, with my buddy Ben Greenfield. That's all about optimizing your health. So it's all, anti-aging protocols, morning routine, night routine, supplement protocols, blood work, analysis, a lot of stuff that he's like known as America's #1 health and fitness expert. And, he's got a New York Times bestselling author. He's a stud. So I collaborate with him on that. We also do an Alaska 7-day trip, which is kind of like the escalation of the Montana one. And then we have a couples mastermind as well that we do. Um, and then we're doing one, a Guatemalan give back, like a philanthropic one where we actually get our community together and go down there and give to some of the most impoverished people in the world. So that's our rundown. We had a safari one on the books for next year. Debating. I'll have a new daughter come February. My wife's pregnant right now, and I got a little 2-year-old, so I don't know how much international travel I'm gonna be doing.
Especially to Guatemala, not allowed, not allowed there either.
Right, right. So that's why we had to postpone that one. But yeah, so I
Yeah,
love masterminds because they are a transformative way to help people embody the happy hustle and connect in a deeper setting that is not able to be achieved on Zoom or on phone calls or really in any business conference. Like it's just a different vibe. Those are often more transactional engagements
yeah,
when you're going and it's like, well, what can I get from this person or this conference? Our stuff is more how can I serve and transform from this process and then support others in the same. So I love masterminds. I've been hosting events for over a decade, from all different types of large scale, massive music festivals I've been a part of to VIP, the top of the top luxury events. And I love events. They are a biatch to facilitate. Oftentimes, there's a lot of nuances and variables, but if you could do it right, I think it's a great addition to any business.
sure. No, and then, from my understanding, or I guess just what I went through a couple weeks ago, people, I think sometimes think that their life is overcomplicated or their business situation so overcomplicated. But when you go down to some of the personal and professional goals, there's so much commonality
Oh yeah,
across the board where
yeah,
it's just, when you surround yourself with those people, right? You're gonna pick up different things. Okay, no, hey, what you're doing, I understand why you're doing it. This is why I did that, and this is why I wouldn't do it again. Just to
Yeah.
help.
Yeah, we're all human and we all like typically have very similar problems, you know. So being able to be raw and vulnerable, hear other people's problems, and then, oh, workshop your own while listening to other people's and then the responses that they get, it's healing. And I think as well, like high performers and, you know, entrepreneurs, founders, executives, we oftentimes work in a silo and it gets lonely, you know, and so you need that community and camaraderie. To answer your question though directly, our masterminds are specifically for high performing, you know, heart centered, purpose driven entrepreneurs, uh, and male entrepreneurs at that. Not that I don't love females, it's just that's who we cater to. And for our couples one, obviously, you know, that's male and female, but that's the only one we do. Our stuff is, yeah, catered to those specific people.
Let me know when you're planning that one because I might be able to have some. I mean, you've been around me for a week. You know my humor. People watching this know my humor. Maybe there's some antagonist questions I might be able to prod in there too.
Yeah, yeah, please, please. Yeah, I will. I will.
Make sure you get them. Make sure you get them out of the way right away. So then the
Yeah.
rest of the time you're like, remember when you said that? No,
Mm-hmm.
no, no. It's a safe zone, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's a circle of trust.
Yeah. Great Will Ferrell line in that movie.
Yeah.
What? I'm not in the safe zone. Anyhow. Um, I'm gonna shift gears a little bit if you don't mind. And
Yeah.
can we walk through kind of like the soul mapping system or map in system that you came up with? And
Yeah.
I know it's a large acronym, but just at a high level,
Yes.
real quick, what each letter means.
Yeah. So what I realized when I was burnt out is that I didn't have an operating system for life. It was very much reactive, not proactive. I would be like, oh, damn, I'm feeling like I haven't worked out. I need to work out more rather than really creating a routine with intentionality. So I basically deconstructed my life when I was burnt out and I figured out what are the key areas that I really want to focus on that I know have exponential rewards on the back end if focused upon. And I came up with 10. And I know 10's a lot, but that's what it took because there's a lot of systems. I was like, okay, you got, you know, personal and professional or career and, you know, um, the three-sided triangle. I just didn't feel like any of the systems ever went deep enough. So ours were the 10 alignments of being a happy hustler, which make up the soul mapping acronym. This is your soul's map to the blissfully balanced promised land. And for me, I was lacking balance greatly. And I find that that is what most of the people who come into our ecosystem are lacking as well. They're imbalanced high performers, right? But they want to be happy hustling at the highest level, crushing it personally and professionally. So this soul mapping system is designed to help you. And the S stands for selfless service, right? Are you giving to others or as we say gift, give insight, finances and time to really, you know, boost your score there. And I know you have your nonprofit which really fills your cup. And I would probably argue that brings you so much fulfillment, probably some of the most fulfillment that you get
Yeah.
comes from the good work that you do, right? So selfless service is huge. That's the S. Then O is optimized health, right? Are you shoving crap down the pie hole and not moving that ass? Well, you're gonna feel probably pretty shitty, you know. And excuse my non
It's
PC,
it's okay. It's
you
okay.
know.
This
But
isn't for kids. This isn't for kids. I hit that
okay,
button.
fair.
So we're good. We're good.
You know, but it's like mentally, physically, emotionally, are you feeling optimized? Then we have unplugged digitally, which this is huge. None of the systems that I was a part of even talked about digitally detoxing and creating barriers. And that's like one of the most important things for happiness now is how often are you in front of a screen? And
Dopamine levels, right? Just
it's it,
instant.
man. Dopamine
Yeah.
dumps constantly. And you know from being in the wilderness for 5 days, like how much better you felt getting up with the sun, going to bed with the moon, swimming in natural bodies of water, even though they were cold, doing things around the campfire and being out grounded barefoot, like all that stuff plays into our happiness level. So unplugging digitally is the you. And then we have loving relationships, because what is it all for if you don't have love in your life, right? And again, I don't claim to be the guru of shit, like none of this stuff, truly. I'm just more the reporter. I'm like, hey, here's what's working for me. Here's what's not working for me. Take what works, leave what doesn't. And that's where this system really came to be. But loving relationships has to be a part of the equation because, you could have everything going right. And I saw this with many of the masterminds that I was a part of at the highest level. Guys would be crushing it financially, but their kids don't know them. Their wife doesn't like them. It's like it just was falling, things were falling apart. So that's the soul part. Um, then we get the mapping part. M stands for mindful spirituality. Again, I don't care what you believe in, one religion or another. I respect everyone's choice. I just think it's important to have faith in something bigger than yourself. Like truly believe in a higher power, meditate, pray, practice an attitude of gratitude. Then abundance financially is okay. Well, do you have a system to save, spend, and invest wisely? Because without that system and without having the ability to have what I call the three freedoms, creative, time, and financial freedom, then you're not going to feel that abundance, right?
Yep.
Then you have personal development. Are you growing and evolving or are you shrinking and dissolving? I like to just focus on my 30-30-30 system of guaranteed growth, which we talked about, but reading in the morning, 30 minutes, listening in the afternoon, 30 minutes, and then watching in the evening, 30 minutes, something educational and inspirational because it hits the brain centers differently. And then we have passionate hobbies, which again, a lot of high performers are lacking in this one because we're doing a lot of things for other people, our family, our friends, our colleagues, our team, our spouse. But when it comes time for like guilt-free downtime or like spending on hobbies that you enjoy, oftentimes that's like last on the totem pole, right? So that one can really boost your happy hustle score if you actually are focused on it. And then
Sure.
impactful work, which is the I, you know, infusing passion. I know cliche buzzwords, but passion, that inward calling on your heartstring to ultimately serve an outward mission, which is that purpose to then make a positive impact, right? And then bringing it home with the N, which is nature connection, actually getting outside, tapping in to these amazing resources out on this planet Earth, and oh, by the way, protecting them in the process, right? Like actually making sustainable choices and switches and supporting B corporations, companies that have regenerative practices and doing things in ethical manner. So that's the soul mapping system. I know that was a lot, but happy to dive in wherever. But that's the system that can help you put the happy in your hustle.
And thank you for going through those 10.
Yeah.
I understand them because I walked through them a couple times, so a
Yeah.
handful of times. But what was the hardest of those? I guess what is the hardest one that you see where people score the lowest?
Probably unplug digitally. Yeah. Yeah. Across the board.
Uh,
Like, I think we are at a real reckoning point in human, history when it comes to our devices. And we either are going to like merge with them, like Neuralink is doing, or we're going to need to start repelling them because like we're right now in this very dangerous and toxic place of use time. And we're really getting away from all the things that humans have been doing for many years that have allowed us to evolve. And now we're like, you see the brain rot that happens when you doom scroll. I don't know if you've seen these studies, but it's very sad. So, and again, I get caught in the doom scroll too because those damn nerds in Silicon Valley are so damn good at programming it that
What's
you're
sucking
addicted.
me in? It's
Yeah.
sucking me in. Stop it. Yeah, no, I see that. I mean, we were watching a baseball game last night, and I was like, look at the people in the stadium. Like 80% of the people in the stadium are in a stadium watching a professional baseball game and they're on their phones. And there was like 20 runs scored. I'm like, it's a pretty good game.
Yeah.
Maybe you should
Yeah.
maybe you should
Yeah.
partake.
Yeah. It is sad, man. That's anywhere though. You go anywhere, people are just text neck. Yeah.
Yeah. sometimes you want to go back to the days where it's that annoying business guy on a phone, like on a plane, where you're just like, dude, I can hear you, like you're in the front of the plane, I'm in the back of the plane.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Yeah. Right.
No, but I agree. I think at some point you need to be intentional with that. And honestly, what was it, 4 full days, I think, without a phone?
Yeah.
Um, and other than the fact that I really didn't know what time it was,
Yeah.
I really didn't care. Like, care.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the beauty of it.
Awesome. I'm gonna shift gears a little bit, if you don't mind, again to
Yeah.
writing a book. So, you know, Brooke runs a publishing company. We see a lot of scripts on a regular basis. It takes courage to write a book, right? Especially if you're writing one based on all this work that you put into this. Any like fear before you kind of fully published, in regards to you just poured your heart out, you poured all these years of putting, your life lessons and this into this book, and what if people don't like it? What if people don't read it? Like, just overall thoughts, Gary?
Oh, yeah, man. I mean, I think fear is a part of the process. My buddy Rory says, when the mission to serve is clear, there is no fear. And I'm like, I feel like you still get a little fearful, even if you're really clear, like it's still a little scary, but I do think it dissipates if you're doing it for the right reasons. Like if the book isn't about you, it's about you, but it's for them. You know what I mean? Like that's how I looked at that book. And, sure, I have the imposter syndrome or the compare and despair. It's like, oh, this person could write this book maybe better than I could, or they have better results or more credibility. But at the end of the day, I operate on the ethos good and done is better than perfect and never finished. So that's what I did. And the first iteration, version 1.0, not very pleased with. Uh, version 2.0, a little bit better, and it'll just keep getting better. When the more you do anything, the better you'll get. And same thing with being an author. However, I do think everyone should push past the fear and put a book out, because not only is it such a liberating process, but I think everyone has a story worth telling.
I agree. And it just takes time. I mean, you have to write so many words a day, put it on paper. I mean, as I was reading it on our ride up there, that's what I was saying. Stuck in traffic. All right, I get to read some books. I get to read some of the book here. Like the Cary Jack prompt. If you could prompt Chat GPT to your personality, it would be relatively entertaining.
My chat GPT is trained on my personality. And so it says shit that I would say, and it's hilarious. It's quite accurate, actually.
Fantastic. I was reading it and I'm like, yeah, all right, I can see this. I can see
Yeah.
this. That's fantastic. And then just kind of closing up here, why should people look to join the Happy Hustle?
Well, I mean, for me, the happy hustle is a movement more so. It's not even something that you have to join or not join. Like that's up to them at what level they really want to get involved. But it's more just the mentality of, okay, well, how can I actually systematically harmonize my ambition and my well-being? That is the definition of the happy hustle. And so again, how do you increase your income and your impact with your ambitions, right? But also, how do you crush it, like personally, being an amazing husband, father, man of God, community servant, just holistically happy person? You know, that's what I look at for myself. And it's something that right now I'm in the process of building, like a pretty serious B2B software as a service play. Like this has the potential to really transform workplace culture, increasing employee engagement and decreasing churn. But dude, this is a lift. Like this building tech, building software is no joke. especially now with AI and all the disruption. And it's like I could just keep running my nice lifestyle business and be happy as a clam, but I feel like God put it on my heart to do something bigger with the happy hustle to get it out to more people. And so I'm doing it. But my reason in sharing that is I'm doing it with the happy hustle top of mind. Like it's taking longer because I'm not grinding like a dog on it. I'm still being present for my son. I'm still being there for my wife. And again, not perfect by no means, but that is how I look to do it different. And I hope the Happy Hustle, if you do decide to join, can inspire you and give you a realistic, tangible, and tactical system to follow so that you don't burn out and that you can achieve that blissful balance while you're out there striving to achieve your dream reality. So that's what it's all about. If you're interested in that, then yeah, check it out.
And then that was going to be what I was going to close on is that B2B,
Yeah.
because employee disengagements at what percentage? I mean,
Oh, right now it's 2 out of every 3 employees. I mean, it's over 66%, man. It's crazy.
so if you can figure out a way to even get it where it's one out of three, think of how much more productive your workforce would be. So I know the
Yeah.
certification that you're looking to do with the B2B side,
Yeah.
like that's what I'm trying to figure out, like from an equipment finance perspective, what that certification and what that logo behind you on the wall would mean to these organizations.
Yeah. So to just give a little bit of color into what Jesse and I are referencing, we serve high performing entrepreneurs. That's who we serve at the Happy Hustle at the highest level. What happened was we got good at serving these people and they were changing their realities, but they asked if they could implement the system with their team. And I was like, well, we don't have anything for companies or teams. It's just for you and you need to crush and then trickle down, all you've learned to your people. They're like, well, you need to build it. And I was like, damn it. Okay. So we have been on a journey creating, proper assessments and dashboards to reflect these 10 different areas of life so that you can get a real pulse on your team at any given moment who's happy hustling and who's not. Because happy employees make 37% more money. And right now, there's a quiet quitting epidemic taking place. And companies that lack culture, that lack, you know, giving a damn about their employees personally and professionally, will actually not make it, in my opinion, very long, nor will they reach their fullest potential. So um, the workforce is demanding that your company actually cares. And so that's what we're building is a way to track your team's happy hustle pulse in real time, daily assessments, weekly calls, monthly giveaways, and then after running the program operating system for your company, you can apply for the Happy Hustle certification, which can go on your website, which can go on your Glassdoor, your LinkedIn, that attracts top tier talent that says, again, that you care about them personally and professionally. It's good for everybody who's involved. And so that's what we're building. And again, the goal is to decrease employee churn, which is arguably the biggest cost in any given organization, and increase employee engagement. So that's what we're building right now, and it's a lift. It's exciting, but yeah, that's what
Uh,
we're
I'm excited. I mean,
focused on.
the boomers are being continually moved out, and that was I think the last. I mean, Gen X, I could still see them like just kind of taking it, but like millennials, and Gen Z, like if you don't fulfill that purpose-driven thing, then you're going to train these people, and they're just going to go to an organization that fills those needs.
Right.
So think about how to change that.
Yeah, that's it, man. Yeah, you gotta. Yeah, and it's about evolution in business, and this is just another way to evolve into a more holistic company. And so that's what we're creating is a way to do that that's seamless, that works, you know, in alignment with your goals as a company founder, in alignment with your company employees' goals, and ultimately your mission on this planet is to ultimately have joy and happiness, largely, right? What's the point of doing it all if you're not like waking up with a smile? So,
Yeah, and like I think the adage is no one on their deathbed sits there and says, "Oh, I wish I would have done that additional deal," right?
yeah,
You don't
or made
you
more
don't talk
money.
about that, right?
Yeah.
Can't bring that with you.
No, you can't.
Awesome, Cary. Well, I really appreciate your time today, man. I'll have to make sure we get a screenshot of
Oh,
both of
let's
these in here.
go.
I brought it. I brought it with me here. So
Let's go.
yeah, well,
Rock
I'm
that
glad to.
flannel, baby.
Yeah, it's nice. It's warm.
Yeah.
Perfect. And from the ice bath perspective, um, got back and my knee ached for 3 days because I didn't go in a 45-degree glacier filled lake.
Yeah. Yeah. You got to get in there, man. Don't you? You have an ice bath, don't you?
In my old house, I had a chiller on my hot tub, but here in
Oh,
Arizona, I haven't. I haven't made that. I have almost every other gadget, just
you need to
not
get
that.
one. That's a good thing for you to have. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's a good thing for everyone to have. Just the cold is healing.
Mind over matter at that
It
point.
is. Yep. Mental fortitude.
Really appreciate your time today, Cary. Excited I got to know you over the last 6 months. Had fun a couple weeks ago. Look forward to sharing your story with our equipment finance community, and hopefully we can grab some of these other entrepreneurs and make them part of the Happy Hustle Club.
Let's go, baby. Appreciate you, man. And thank you everyone for watching and listening. Peace and love, everybody.
All right, have a good one, Cary. Thank you.